Hi, we are the Lee Sisters. I'm Emi.
And I'm Lise.
And we have a new album called Uke Shoes, launching soon.
You're listening to Annie Talks.
Annie Talks, Annie Talks. Welcome to the show. Here we go with Annie Talks. Annie Talks, Annie Talks. Welcome to the show. Here's your host, it's Annie Talks.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Annie Talks, where we bring to you interesting stories about interesting people that you want to know about. I'm your host, Annie Rivera. Thank you for tuning in, and to those who have already subscribed. If you're new to the podcast, welcome, and I hope you enjoy what you hear, and if so, I personally invite you to subscribe. Annie Talks is brought to you by Daily Gadgets and More. Daily Gadgets and More is proud and committed to offering the largest variety of high-quality products at the lowest prices and the best customer service. Find us on Instagram or visit dailygadgetsandmore.com. That's dailygadgetsandmore.com. Hey everyone, it's Annie Rivera with Annie Talks. Thank you all so much for tuning in. My guests on this episode are the Lee Sisters. As you've heard, they are launching their very first ever CD, and I am so honored to have them both on the show. And I cannot wait for you all to hear all about them and how they got started. You'll even get a sneak peek at 2 songs from the CD later in the show, concluding with the lightning round, so you'll want to listen all the way to the end for that. First, I would like to shout out to Uncle Kamaka Brown, the creative director of the Sandwich Islands Network Radio 24/7 online streaming of island contemporary music at v93fm.com, for the introduction to Lise more than a year ago. And a shout out to Nate Yaris for helping with the music, and of course redlightfeverstudio in Tujunga, California, and the masterwork of engineer-extraordinaire Kristofer Traynor. So without further delay, here now is my conversation with Emi and Lise Lee, the Lee Sisters. Hey, Emi and Lise, thank you so much for being on the show. I really, truly appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for having us.
Oh,
So exciting.
Yay! I'm so excited to talk with both of you, and I feel as though this is going to be kind of like our own private conversation that we're sharing with the world. Yay! Awesome. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and basically like your hometown and the road to where you guys are now.
All right, well, I'll start off first. So I'm Emi. I'm the older sister.
Yay! Hi, Emi.
Hi. And then Lise, if you want to introduce yourself.
Oh, yes. Hello. I'm Lise, and I'm the little sister. So there's 2 of us in this package deal.
Awesome.
Yep. And together we are the Lee Sisters. We are from the town of Rancho Cucamonga in Southern California.
Yay! Hooray!
We've stayed there our whole lives. We were raised there, and basically until college.
Did you go to Rancho Cucamonga High School also, or did you go somewhere else?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
we both went there. Yeah, currently I am in Orlando, Florida, working for Walt Disney Imagineering.
Awesome. What are you doing there?
And
I'm a project coordinator working on a very exciting project coming out next year on both coasts.
Yay.
That's all I can say.
Yeah, right? Uh-oh.
Yep.
All the secrets are right there, everybody.
Yeah. It's going to be awesome.
Awesome. And then, Lise, where are you and what are you doing now?
So I am a 3rd-year college student attending UC Riverside, and I'm majoring in business administration. I'm still trying to figure out which area I would like to focus on, so I'm really torn between management or marketing, but as of now, those are both what I would want to do.
Awesome. In what industry are you more? Are you entertainment perhaps, or what genre of business were you interested?
Yeah, so that is a really good question. So I'm torn between a focus in management and marketing, and the reason for that is because, marketing, you get to exercise your creativity, kind of like what you do, kind of almost like a freelance thing, but you get to choose what you want to do, when you want to do it, while using your skills. And I also am interested in management because you get to work with people, and it hasn't always been like this. I never wanted to talk to anyone. I was super duper shy, and music has just helped. I think it's helped both of us grow, like not only together but as individual people, because now we have to network and be like keep contacts very warm. And I think that management side is really catered to that. So I'm interested in both of these.
Awesome. So now why don't you both tell us how you got started in playing the ukulele and basically how you became the musicians and artists that you are.
Okay, I'll take this, Emmy. I'll start off. Yeah, it started with me actually. So back in high school, I was in choir, and all the cool kids were playing an instrument while they were singing, and I thought, I want to do that too. So, our dad, in his office, he always had this old dusty ukulele that I always noticed on his shelf, and from time to time we go pluck it and then run away because we were too scared to touch it. But one time I asked him, like, oh, Dad, like, how do you play that? And he pulled out a really dusty book that said how to play the ukulele and gave it to me and said, here, learn, go.
Yeah, he was like, here's the manual.
Yeah.
Really?
So oh, all right.
Yeah.
So then I read it from cover to cover. We learned all my very basic chords and played very basic songs. And once I started doing that, Lise noticed what I was doing, and being the little sister that she is, Lise.
Yeah, I still am a booger because I'm a little sister, but at that time, and still now actually, I really idolize my sister. I really look up to her. So everything that she did, I wanted to do too. Like she like, what was it? Emmy started playing tennis. I tried to do that. She would do Polynesian dancing. I did that too. So it was kind of just like, me too. I want to do all that. And, one time, I think our initial spark of ukulele happened on this one day. I remember it so clearly because, I don't know, to me it was kind of life changing. So one time, I was about 13. We had been playing ukulele for about maybe 1 or 2 years at that point. And Emmy was listening to the Pandora Hawaiian radio station while doing homework or something. And on the radio station came this song called Blue Roses Falling by Jake Shimabukuro. And, it was very pretty. And Emmy was like really curious. So she looked it up on YouTube and she showed me, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was a solo ukulele piece. And it just sounded so gorgeous, yet like heart-wrenching and beautiful. And I was so taken aback because this whole time we were just strumming along to like row, row, row your boat from that manual.
Wow.
And yeah, and it was mind-blowing because I was like, whoa, those 4 strings can make so many different sounds. And it sounded gorgeous. And I remember that feeling of that there was like the spark inside. And I was like, you know what? I want to learn how to play that.
Wow, that is so awesome. Wow, what a long ways you both came from playing row, row, row your boat and just strumming along and then to the musicians that you are right now. I mean, that's amazing. So now, was it really hard to learn how to play the ukulele? I mean, I have to be honest with you. The first time I ever picked one up, and I thought, oh, I could do this because I kind of like the idea of being able to to be your own accompanist, right? So I'm a vocalist too, but not even a musician at all. So when I tried to play the ukulele, forget it. I don't know how you guys, I mean, you must grow calluses and have this high tolerance for pain because it just drove me nuts. I couldn't do it. So I have so much respect for the fact that you guys can play so beautifully and so eloquently on the ukulele. So tell us about that. How was that like when you were first learning how to play it?
Oh, thank you for saying that. I guess for both of us, one of the hardest parts was just doing the finger stretches because we have very small fingers.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, but it wasn't too bad because you have 4 fingers and 4 strings, so it's not too hard compared to guitar. I think
guitar hurts. Guitar's like a cheese grater on your finger.
Oh my goodness. I mean, clearly ukulele or guitar are not my instrument. So, I mean, I'm serious. I have a greater respect for you both on learning how to play and playing it well. But so what was one of the songs that you mastered really, really well before you actually kind of, ventured off on your own learning how to make and compose your own stuff?
Oh, that's quite a lengthy question.
So one of our strongest ones, Lise, you can add on or change it, but one we would play a lot was Body Surfing.
Okay.
By Herb Otosan. Yeah. Because that one has a very good solo line as well as a good rhythm line, and so I typically take the rhythm and then let Lise layer on top of that. And so that one we had down very well, just because it was fun and it was a good way to start our shows. And yeah.
Yeah, I think what's interesting is that it hasn't always been like that. We didn't just start playing Body Surfing and overnight it was just like perfect. I think what's kind of cool is that we had to play. We knew a bunch of other duets, and I do some solo pieces by myself, and we learned all these different songs. We would play them, and I think with each song that we learned, it got progressively better, and so better than getting progressively worse. But it was kind of cool to see that growth, because at each stage of we're still improving now, but at each stage of our growth, it was kind of like a small snapshot, and in each of those stages we were like, oh wow, we're so good, like this is so cool. And then we would just get better and better and better. And sometimes when we look back at old videos, we're like, oh my god, where's my hair going? And also, why am I playing that note? So I think it's cool because now we're still improving, but it's much better, and we can physically see the growth that we went through.
Yeah, Lisa, you bring up a good point. Like I want to go back through our YouTube videos and see and compare us now to our first video. Oh my gosh.
You guys should do a reaction video. That would be so hilarious. You could just tape it.
That's a good idea.
Right? Oh my god. I would totally watch that. You should do it.
I would be screaming the whole time.
No, that's an amazing suggestion. Thank you.
Awesome. Do it and then post it. I'd love to see it. So now,
all right.
Thanks. Awesome. So besides the ukulele, do you guys play any other instrument, or what other musical or entertaining or performing talents do you both have?
So I played some piano. That was the first instrument that our parents made us learn and put us through classes for.
Awesome.
But I really, really appreciate that though, looking back, because it gave us a very good foundation in music. Mm-hmm. So we learned how to read music and learn basic rhythms. Other than that, I also do hula and Tahitian dancing. I've been doing it since I was 6 years old and still do it today.
Awesome.
So that got us kind of into the Polynesian culture.
Very cool. And then Lisa, you play what? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, it's kind of the same with me with Emi's answer. I did do a little bit of piano in my elementary school days, and I did Polynesian dancing up until high school, but I think why I don't do it now is because I don't know, I think that's when I started falling in love with the ukulele. I still do really, really appreciate now that looking back, our parents making us do those activities, because at the time, since I was so young, I was like, oh, my parents want me to do something, I don't want to do it, it's not fun anymore. But that's like the mindset that you have when you're younger, right? Because you don't want to be told what to do. But I'm really glad that they made us do that, because like Emi said, kind of built that foundation. But as for other instruments, I really, really like just, I don't know, anything with like strings on it. Because when I fell in love with ukulele, we started playing that. And then after that, I kind of, about 2 years later, when I was 15, I started taking guitar lessons because I don't know, I just really loved the sound of the guitar too. And, you know, initially I wanted to play guitar before we picked up ukulele. Mm-hmm. And I remember talking to my parents about it, and, you know, they were very nice about it, but they said, oh, you know what, guitar, kind of like what your concern is, like, oh, guitar, like, that hurts your fingers. Are you sure you want to do that? And I was like, oh, you're right. That looks painful. So, you know, I don't know. I guess I didn't come back to it until after we started playing ukulele. And, you know, that's when I learned a little bit of guitar. And then I realized that I could play guitar with Emi, you know, because that kind of adds another sort of depth to our songs a little bit. It makes it a little bit warmer. And then I started playing this very recently. I started playing the guitarlele or ukelele, how it goes by like two names. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of like let's say you left your ukulele and your guitar alone with like rose petals and some wine, and they made guitarlele. So it's awesome. I played that, I think, the last time I saw you.
I think
at the St. Jude benefit.
Right.
Yeah, it's that instrument. It's pretty neat because it's like both of my loves combined. It's the bottom four strings are attuned to an ukulele, a low G ukulele, and the top two strings are what makes it a guitar.
That's awesome. So, Emi, I want to stop and talk a little bit about your background a little bit. You mentioned Polynesian hula dancing and then playing the ukulele. Not to put you on the spot, but of the two, which do you like the best?
Oh boy.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, I have been dancing for a long time. So I think I am a little bit more comfortable with that. But because of that, we're trying to see if we could incorporate me dancing in one of our shows so that Lise can maybe play and then I can dance to that. So that's one of our goals because we have this extra skill between the two of us. But the ukulele, it helps. I like it as well because it calms me down. But I'm a very nervous person, so I'm playing the ukulele, especially with Lise. It's very calming yet fun.
Awesome.
So it's just tough.
Now
like
you guys,
therapeutic.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you guys can kind of like be each other's, you know, what brother's keeper or sister's keeper, basically, right? So you kind of keep each other accountable and help each other through it and so on and so forth. Now, you both mentioned earlier about your dad, how he was someone that kind of introduced you to the ukulele. Now, does he and your mom, do they have entertaining backgrounds as well, or was it just a hobby of his, or tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. So, do you want to go?
Oh, you can go for it.
Okay. So our dad actually has like some really cool like musical background, or both of them do actually. Our dad in his high school younger days, he was a classical trumpet player, and you know he played in like multiple orchestras, and he was like first chair of, you know, whatever.
Wow.
And he would tell us, he was like, yeah, I was the cool trumpet rock star, and I believe it. Like, he's like, I got all the solos.
Wow, go
and,
dad.
Yeah.
Hello, yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
He's pretty cool.
Yeah, and our mom played a lot of piano, and she was a singer in high school. She won't sing for us now, but according to her dad, she was a beautiful singer.
Oh, you should try to coax her to sing in one of your sets.
I've tried.
You just need to egg her on.
I've tried.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's
because
awesome.
I'm always like, Mom, I want to hear you sing. And she's like, I can't hear anymore. I'm like, excuses.
Oh, your parents are so awesome. And the influence that they've had on the two of you is just, I mean, it's clearly they're a huge influence and strong influence on the two of you. So thank you both to your parents for both of them, influencing you and keeping you guys interested. I that happens a lot. I see that a lot where parents, my age especially, parents would make them play an instrument like piano. I played piano for 13 years. If I sat in front of a piano right now, would I be able to play it? No, probably not ever. But I mean, just the fact that you had, strong, influential parents that kind of kept you sticking to it is, I mean, that says a lot for your parents. So pat them on the back for me.
Yeah, I think they'd really appreciate hearing that. Yeah, having our parents alongside us for this entire journey has been really great, and they keep us grounded, and they help us learn along the way.
Yeah, we're so blessed, I would say, to have that endless and unconditional love and support, because a lot of other parents are, maybe me, I'm always in my teen angsty stage, but they're like, oh, it's just a phase, you don't want to be in a rock band, like, music's not good for you. But I think it's their background and appreciation for music, even though it was like a little part of their life, they have that insight as to like where music can take you. And Emi's right, they keep us grounded, but I think it kind of stems from our dad, especially because he wanted to be a classical trumpet player, and his parents were like, maybe you should do something else. So he sees us and he says, okay, you can do both. I'm not going to say you can't do music, but I'm not going to say you should, stop with your career. Right. I think we're very lucky.
Wow. So he's kind of living vicariously through you guys, huh? And at the same time, encouraging you to be, come to that decision on your own. Speaking of which, how did your family react to that decision of you becoming artists?
They're 100% supportive. They were glad that we finally found something that will not necessarily keep us out of trouble. We were never really big troublemakers, but yeah, I'm looking at you, Lucy. No. So 100% supportive, all the way, and they're like, well, if that's what you want to do, go for it. Like they never pressured us into anything. They're like, whatever you want to do, we'll support you.
That's awesome. Yay! People should have more parents like that. Hello, parents. Hello, parents out there. Encourage your kids. Encourage your kids. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to step off my little pedestal now. I hope you're enjoying this podcast episode. We'll be right back after this short message from one of our sponsors. Comfotherm thermal wraps are designed to help relieve the pain and swelling in and around the jaw, especially after wisdom teeth extractions. For more information, visit comfotherm.com. That's comfotherm.com. Hey there, Annie Rivera here. Thanks for tuning in to Annie Talks. Be sure to tell your friends about subscribing to the podcast, and don't forget to rate and review the podcast. Doing so helps out with the algorithm and helps others to find this podcast too. I also invite you to like my Annie Talks Facebook page. There you'll find other news, information, upcoming events, and all sorts of things. Stay in the know with Annie Talks. I also invite you to join the Annie Talks Community Facebook group, where we carry the conversation from the podcast episode to the Facebook group. Ask questions about the episode, about a guest, about the locations, you name it. Ask away. This forum is for you. See you on the Annie Talks Community Facebook group. Now, during the time that you guys were recording, okay, so let's talk about this. I love backstories. If you know anything about my podcast and any of my interviews in the past, I love hearing backstories and memorable moments. Can you share a memory or a recent story leading up to your recording of your album?
Yeah. So I think what was really hard about recording was, I guess if we want to talk about the funny stories, we didn't take too many pictures or film too much of what went on. I think it's mainly because days at the studio are fun, but also kind of lengthy, so you can't really document much of it. But one day I thought, okay, let me just tease and show people that we are in the studio, we are recording our album. And one of my dearest friends from a while ago, her name is Robin. She would text me because she would see these pictures of us in the studio. And she's so funny. She texted me something like, oh, if you get super famous, don't forget about me. I want my backstage access, and I'll bring donuts for the crew. And I'm like, what?
That's hilarious.
Yeah, she's a character. So she's a good person.
So I think if anything, her support is almost like our parents. She's not behind the scenes or anything, but she's always been rooting us on throughout this entire thing too. So I think that's pretty awesome.
So now tell us something about, you said something funny, something memorable. What's something that will stick going forward, maybe that you've learned from in terms of recording, and maybe if you were to go to another recording session, maybe you've learned from it, and how can you talk about something like that?
From my experience from being in the recording studio, I do get stressed because I want to make it perfect, and but the more stressed and the more I thought about it, the more I'd mess up. So I think I just have to go in there next time and just let the music flow. Just feel it out, instead of just thinking too hard and too technical about it.
Yeah, and it's also a little bit difficult because you have to exercise a lot of patience, because a lot of the times you might get what you think is the perfect take and really it's not, or something went wrong in recording, and this is a bonus fact. So for our song Love Letters on the EP, that actually has, we kind of kept it in though because it was pretty cool, but there was a bird chirping outside of the window, and at the very beginning it's very faint. I don't know if you could still hear it. I have to go listen to it, but we kept it in because it kind of went with the song. So there's a faint bird chirping in it, and that's really, I think that's pretty neat. But,
wow, that's awesome. I love those unexpected surprises where it just enhances situations. I love that. I love I've done recordings in the park where I've interviewed people, and I hear little chirpings or other little nuances that add to the recording. That's awesome. I like that. Here's a good question that I think all the listeners and followers want to know. Do you guys write your own music?
Yes.
Yay!
Everything on the album is original.
Very cool. So now, give us a little bit. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that each song has its own story, and everything's very, very personal.
So tell us a little bit about that inspiration. You don't have to tell us about every song, but just tell us about maybe one song each. What was the inspiration behind that for you?
So one of the songs on the album is called Ukelele, and so this is a fun story. So a couple years ago, we took a cruise around Hawaii for vacation, and we brought our ukuleles with us so we could play anywhere and practice. And on board the ship, we became friends with the musician uncles, and so they were very gracious and let us be a part of their set on the first day that we set sail. So they let us come up and play a couple songs for the guests, even though we were guests ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was super cool. And we have a couple great pictures of us taking off and us just playing. And later when we were telling people the story, they thought, wow, you guys are ukulele pirates, just hopping on board and stealing the show. So then that whole story became the inspiration for the song Buccaneer, whose name takes the word buccaneer, which means pirate, and the shortened version of ukulele, which is uke. And combining those two words together, you get Buccaneer, which is an epic ukulele pirate song.
So now would be a really good time to hear the small sample of Buccaneer. I love those stories, you guys. It's so cool. And then what's the other inspiration for the other song?
Okay, this one, I'm sure you've heard me play this like many, many times, but it's called Pool for Paul. And this was the very, very first song I ever composed on the ukulele. And, you know, it had like a little bit of everything. And I'm still not really sure how I was able to compose it, but it's kind of like, it was kind of like one of those moments where I was like, ooh, like I knew I was onto something. And the backstory behind Pool for Paul is one that's very, very, I don't know, I don't think I can ever forget it. It was that kind of experience. So maybe around 4 years ago, one of our yearly annual trips to Hawaii, we had just started playing ukulele, and we, outside of our living room couch, we started playing at like certain venues, and the Lee Sisters was kind of in the making at this point. So we still have a lot to learn, but, we didn't know much at that point. And we flew over to Hawaii, and some of our friends said, oh, hey, do you want to come and play with us over here at this beach bar? And Emi and I were ecstatic. We were like, oh my gosh, we get to play in a different state. We're going to play in Hawaii, right? Because we've just been playing at, small kind things in SoCal. And, but then soon we ran into this problem where we had only brought with us one instrument. So I had my ukulele and my sister didn't. And, I think we were initially pretty crushed because, I really wanted to play with Emi. Yeah. And our friend, his name is Paul, he used to work down at the ukulele pua shop down by the Sheraton in Waikiki. And Paul, he said, you know what? Don't worry about it. So the next day, Paul showed up to work on his day off while he was sick to lend us an instrument. And I think this broke my heart because he took the bus for 2 hours and he was sick and it was his day off. And because, it just left us with such a bittersweet feeling in our stomachs. How could someone do this? Do they even make people like that anymore? And,
people like this really exist. Yeah.
I just remember being so taken aback and so touched by Paul. And when I went home, we were just crying on the plane. Like we couldn't believe like all the generosity. And I knew that I wanted to thank Paul. I knew I wanted to, put these feelings, to justice. And so I wrote Pua for Paul because Pua means flower, and this is my flower to him, and this is my gratitude.
And now would be a good time to hear Pua for Paul. What's the name of your album?
It's called Uke Shoes.
Uke Shoes, is there an inspiration behind the title of Uke Shoes?
Yeah, so that's actually there's one of the songs on the album is called Uke Shoes, and the story behind the album is, it's kind of like the story behind the song, where it's very whimsical, like as you could tell from our story from Buccaneer.
Mm-hmm.
We use a lot of imagination in the creative process. So Uke Shoes was inspired by the time I was in high school, and I was sitting in class, and I was kind of just craving playing the ukulele, and I had this wild daydream. Well, I should have been paying attention, but I had this wild daydream that my ukulele put on my sneakers, so put on my shoes, and it walked to school to come visit me. And then Uke Shoes was born.
Oh, that's
and mind you, like Lise loves Converse shoes. Like I don't know how many pairs she has.
Yes, I see. That's so cool. Now, the artwork on your album, it's primarily the two of you, but where are you on location for the photo shoot?
Ooh. We took those pictures in Oregon.
Ooh, very cool.
At our parents' new vacation home.
Ah, hello. Okay.
Yeah, if you ask my mom, she has this whole slideshow on her phone. It's like 3 minutes long, and like she'll just show you all the pictures because they're so happy about it. But I'm glad.
They're such proud parents. Now, how difficult was that to have to like just narrow down to just a few pictures? I'm sure you probably wanted to put that whole album on the album. I'm sure all the whole pictures on the album. But how nice was that to be able to be in the comfort of your own home in the backyard, basically just kind of take those pictures. I really love the artwork on your album, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it was awesome. And we even included like Lise's very first sketch of what she thought the album art would be. So that was encouraged by our mom to put the little doodle in there as well.
Yeah,
awesome.
So that's gonna be like on the inner panels of the CD, and like it was just a joke because my mom had asked us, oh, how do you want your cover art? Because I asked her to take pictures of us, and she was like, okay, well maybe you should draw it out. So I just doodled it on a piece of paper, not really thinking much of it. And our parents look at the doodle and they go, oh my gosh, this is so cute. And I was like, no, let me redo it. They're like, no, keep it. So it's on the album.
That was your storyboard, basically, kind of your vision of the.
I know
the one storyboard.
The one storyboard.
Yeah. I was like, I want it like this.
Yeah, no kidding. So now, is there an official CD launch party, or do you have tour dates coming up, or what can you share with us, and where can we see you guys?
So there's no official party or tour dates that we know of right now, just because of our schedules and where we are physically. But we will be performing in January at the Makaha Sons concert for the Aloha concert series in Whittier.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah,
Yay.
so that is on January 19th. So I'll be back for that. And we should have CDs by then.
Yeah, I think we're probably gonna unveil it there. So get it while it's hot.
Yeah. So then how can people buy your CD? And besides buying it in person, in fact, you all have to go watch them and buy a CD from them in person, everybody. But for those are listening and following on YouTube, how can we buy your CDs?
I think we'll be able to have the CDs available on our new website, which has not yet launched, but it's very close to finishing. So I'll be sure to send you that your way when it does get launched.
Awesome. And you guys, everybody listening and following, you can always come to my website at annietalks.com, and I will, as soon as they give it to me, I will announce it on my website. You can certainly follow them along as well. Now, what takeaways do you want listeners and followers to take from your album?
We want to show them that although we love doing
matured.
flashy stuff, yeah, like we've matured a lot, and I think that shows in the music.
Right.
You know, we've grown a lot from row, row, row your boat.
Yeah.
And
yeah, and then, you know, what's cool is like, yeah, when we went from row, row your boat, then we kind of got into very intense, kind of entertaining, flashy songs. And, you know, that's really good too. But, you know, it was kind of this phase where everything we wanted to do was fast because it's cool. But I think an entire concert full of that, each time you do that is kind of like less of a story. And, you know, we've definitely matured, like what Emi said.
That's awesome. Now, what words of wisdom can you share for people who want to be like you? They want to be artists or musicians, or maybe even never picked up an ukulele and never heard of an ukulele. I mean, what words of wisdom can you share with them?
The ukulele is a very friendly instrument. It doesn't bite back. Don't worry. But when you're learning it, you have to be patient, because for me, it took a little longer to learn than for Lise, but that is totally okay. Like, each person learns at their own pace. So don't compare yourself to other people, and just focus on you and your progress. And, you know, just set your goal and you'll get there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think on the opposite end of that, like for me, I totally learned to just, you know, slow down and listen to other people, because I remember when Emi and I started playing together, I initially started out as a soloist, and then I realized I loved playing with Emi. So we started playing together, and, you know, that requires a collaborative effort.
Yeah.
And, you know, I learned that I'm not always right, because sometimes Emi would say something and, you know, we kind of disagree on certain things. And then I had to take a step back and think, no, it's not because, you know, Emi's saying that just because she's saying it because she wants us to be better. And, you know, it totally taught me to just listen to other people, whether it's advice, because pretty much for the most part, the ukulele and Hawaiian community is just so generous, and they just want to help you. So just take a step back and just listen and, you know, learn from that.
Awesome. And then now, what's one thing people don't already know about either of you, both of you?
So we speak Spanish pretty fluently, actually.
What?
Yeah. So quick segue. Our mother grew up in Nicaragua for a couple years before moving to California. Mm-hmm. So growing up, we were bilingual, and you know, only spoke Spanish to mom and mom's side of the family, and then English with dad. So,
oh my gosh. You must blow people away. I mean, you know, when they least expect it, you just like, it just comes out like fluidly, right? I mean, like, oh my gosh. I can just see
more or less now.
Yeah. But I think Lise, we should definitely do a Spanish song in there. I think it's time.
Oh, see?
I think so too. Yeah. Embrace, because you know what was like cool though? Like, yeah, other segue, like we kind of grew up not only with like music, we grew up with such a rich, diverse, and confusing culture. Like,
yeah,
it was like we spoke Spanish at home. We went to school with like English, and then
we're Chinese, right? and then the Polynesian dancing. Like, just we had a very nice mixture.
Yeah,
I had like 5 identity crises.
But I guess it's true what they say, right? Never judge a book by its cover, because I would never, ever have guessed that you guys are fluent in Spanish. That's so awesome. Way to be diverse, you guys. Way to be multicultural. I love that.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, guys. So we are going to play the lightning round. And I thought about this about a minute, and I'm not sure if a minute is enough time, but let's see what we can do in a minute. So these are just random questions, just kind of blurt them out, and they're not anything hard. It's just, you know, this and that. And whenever you guys are ready, I'm going to start the timer. Are you guys ready?
Yeah. Can I phone a friend?
Can you phone a friend?
Phone a friend? Can I ask the audience?
Oh my God. Okay. You ready? Spaghetti? Here we go. Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay.
Starting. Here we go. And go. Favorite food?
Sushi.
Cheeseburgers.
What?
Oh, that.
What's
Sushi,
something?
yeah.
Sushi and cheeseburgers? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, favorite colors.
Blue.
Which is, say it again.
Blue.
Green. Oh.
Green?
Green.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, and favorite numbers?
4.
9.
Favorite place. Favorite place to eat?
My mom's house.
Oh, that's a good one. I was gonna say island because they have cheeseburgers.
Oh my goodness. And favorite vacation place?
Hawaii.
Yay! Okay.
Oh, Poke. I should have said Poke.
Favorite amusement place? Park.
Oh, Disneyland, hands down.
Yeah.
All right, that is it. We are at the minute mark. Look at that. Yay! Awesome. Well, thank you guys. I really, truly appreciate it. Now, where can we follow you on social media?
On YouTube, you can find us at ukelele, and you spell that Ukelise.
On Facebook, we are the Lee Sisters, and we have a whole page dedicated to that.
If you want to go on Instagram, you're young and tech savvy, we are the Lee. You could probably just type in the Lee Sisters, but we're the full name is the Lee Sisters Uke Duo.
I like what you said one time, Lise, in one of the shows I saw you when you said that if you like us, say it again, say that word.
Well, if you liked us, we are the Lee Sisters. If you didn't like us, we are the Lee Brothers.
That is so funny. You guys have been such a blast to talk with. I'm so excited to have talked or to have this opportunity to talk with you and to learn about you. I learned so much. I learned so much about your parents. I love this whole uncovering of all these wonderful nuggets. So thank you so much for being on the show. I really, truly appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for having us. We're so honored.
Yay.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Annie Talks and learning about the Lee sisters. This dynamic duo has a very bright future ahead, and I am so very proud of them, as are their family and the Sandwich Islands Network radio crew. As soon as I have the official CD launch date and the Lee sisters official website information, I'll be sure to post it on my website, which you can check at annietalks.com. Don't forget to follow the Lee sisters on social media, and I will have all that information in the show notes below. Now, before you go, if you aren't already subscribed to my podcast, I invite you to subscribe, and that way you'll be notified anytime we upload a new episode. If you are subscribed to my podcast, thank you so much. Please be sure to rate and review this podcast and add a comment or two as well. It will help others to find this podcast too. You can follow Annie Talks on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. I'll have all the links to the social media in the information and show notes down below. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and keep listening to Annie Talks.
Hi, we are the Lee Sisters. I'm Emi.
And I'm Lise.
And we have a new album called Uke Shoes launching soon.
You're listening to Annie Talks.